You ever been in that relationship that feels like a dance, but you don't know the steps? One person leans in, the other one leans out. It's that classic push and pull. Well, today, we're not just going to watch the dance. We are going to read the hidden script that's directing every single move. I mean, really think about it. The more you try to connect, the more space they seem to need. It's this painful, totally exhausting loop, right? And you're not alone in this. So many of us get stuck right there without ever really understanding why.
But see, this whole thing, it's not random. It's actually a super predictable pattern. The more the pursuer tries to get close, the more the withdrawer feels kind of suffocated and backs off, which, of course, just makes the pursuer try even harder. It's a perfect, frustrating cycle. But what if I told you this is all part of a hidden script that was written for you a long, long time ago?
Yeah, that script has a name, and it is the key to unlocking all of this. In psychology, we call this dynamic the anxious avoidant trap, and it's all driven by our subconscious attachment style. So here's the big idea. Attachment theory says that we all have a kind of blueprint for relationships that got wired into us when we were just infants. This is deep stuff. It's a biological survival instinct. How we learn to feel safe and get our needs met way back then, that becomes our default setting for how we handle intimacy our entire lives.
And this blueprint is actually pretty simple when you break it down. It really comes down to two sliding scales. First, how much anxiety do you have about being abandoned? And second, how much do you tend to avoid real intimacy? Where you land on those two scales, well, that basically defines your attachment style.
So, you take those two scales, and what do you get? They combine to create four main emotional blueprints. And understanding this one framework, that's the key to decoding your own patterns.
Okay, so here's the simple version. If you're secure, you're generally pretty comfortable. You feel worthy of love, and you can trust people. Pretty straightforward. If you're anxious, you might really struggle with feeling unworthy and have this deep, nagging fear of being left. Now, avoidant people, they often see themselves as super self-sufficient, and they can find other people's needs a little intrusive. And then you have disorganized, which is a really complex mix of fearing both abandonment and getting too close. And right there, that's huge. Just by getting your head around this one single framework, you now have a tool that lets you understand relationships more deeply than most people ever will. That is a massive advantage to have. But here's the part that almost nobody talks about. This hidden script, it's not just running in your love life. It is silently playing in the background of your professional life too. Think about that coworker who always needs a good job or asks, "Are we okay?" after a small disagreement. It's not just about getting feedback. For someone with an anxious attachment style, that's their whole system trying to calm down its fear of rejection. They're just seeking reassurance that they're valued and they belong. For social smarts. And what about that boss who only communicates through short, brief emails and avoids face-to-face meetings like the plague? It's so easy to just label them as cold or distant. But if we look through an attachment lens, maybe their behavior is really just a strategy to manage the vulnerability of close collaboration, which can feel really threatening if you have an avoidant style. And that is why this knowledge isn't just interesting, it's a real strategic advantage. It lets you stop taking things so personally. You can anticipate how your colleagues might react under pressure. You can navigate your career with so much more insight. It's like playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Okay, so knowledge is definitely power. But how do we actually start to rewrite this script? Let's go from just understanding to actually healing. And let's explore a powerful and kind of non-obvious tool, intentional rituals. Look, understanding your pattern is absolutely crucial, but sometimes our brains need more than just information. Rituals are a way to turn passive suffering into active healing. You're sending a powerful symbolic signal to your mind that you are intentionally creating closure and you are moving on. So here's a super safe and practical way you can start. It's called the water release. You just write down what you want to let go of, a fear, a memory, whatever, on special dissolving paper. Then you place that paper in a bowl of water, and you physically watch it just vanish. And as it dissolves, you say out loud, "I release your power over me." It's simple, but it's a really profound physical act of letting go. Now, for the explorers out there, you might want to check out the kintsugi ritual. It's inspired by this incredible Japanese art of mending broken pottery with gold. The whole philosophy is that the bowl is actually more beautiful because it was broken. And what a stunning metaphor for our lives, right? Your healing doesn't erase your past, it highlights it. It turns your cracks into sources of incredible strength.
Which brings us to maybe the most empowering idea of all. Your attachment style, it might be the first draft of your story, but it is not the final version. As this says, the story can absolutely change. And you're the one holding the pen.
Okay, let's bring it all home. The big takeaway is this. Your attachment style is not a life sentence. It is a starting point. By understanding the pattern, you get the power to consciously break it and to start building the secure, healthy connections you absolutely deserve in every part of your life.
But this whole conversation brings up a really provocative question. We've talked a lot about how these styles can create conflict. But what if, and this might sound a little wild, what if, under the right conditions, a team with a mix of anxious and avoidant people could actually outperform a team made up of only secure people? We're going to dig into that hidden and pretty controversial advantage next time.
If this touched your heart, please subscribe, like, and share it with your family. Save this for more meaningful content ahead.